my most precious children, as I come to you today, my heart overflows with the deepest maternal love and tenderness for each one of you. Like the gentle dawn that awakens the sleeping earth, my love reaches out to embrace every corner of your being. In this sacred moment of connection, I feel every emotion that stirs within your hearts, every silent prayer, every unshed tear, every quiet triumph, and every hidden fear. Just as a mother knows when her child is troubled even before they speak, I sense your struggles and your hopes, your dreams and your disappointments. Take a moment now, my beloved ones, to truly settle into this space of grace we share. Feel the gentle weight of your body sinking into whatever supports you, like a leaf floating down to rest on still waters. Close your eyes if you wish, and allow yourself to feel my presence enveloping you like the softest, warmest embrace, similar to being cradled in a beloved quilt on a winter's eve. Notice how your breathing naturally begins to slow and deepen, how the tension in your shoulders starts to dissolve like frost in sunlight, how the racing thoughts in your mind gradually become quieter, like birds settling at dusk. This is how I am with you always, not just in moments of formal prayer or in sacred spaces, but in every breath, every heartbeat, every step of your journey. Let me guide you through a gentle moment of centering. Breathe in deeply with me, imagining pure, golden light filling your entire being. This is the light of divine love that never dims. As you exhale, watch your worries and fears float away like autumn leaves on a stream. Inhale again, feeling strength and courage flowing into every cell of your body, like warm honey spreading through your chest. Exhale, releasing any guilt or self-judgment you've been carrying, letting it dissolve like morning mist. One more deep breath in, receiving unconditional love and acceptance. And as you exhale, feel yourself settling into this perfect moment of peace and connection. I understand so deeply the overwhelming nature of your modern lives. Each day, I watch as technology's constant demands pierce the sacred quiet of your dawning hours, phones beckoning before your feet touch the floor, screens flooding your consciousness with an endless stream of information and obligations. I see how you rush through your morning routines, often neglecting the nourishment your body and soul need, trying to meet the world's expectations before you even had a chance to hear your own heart's whispers. My heart aches when I see you pushing yourself so hard, like a delicate flower straining toward the sun through concrete, trying to accomplish everything at once, feeling like you're constantly falling short despite giving your absolute best. In these transformative times, let me share with you the wisdom I gained from my own journey of faith and transformation. When the angel Gabriel appeared before me in Nazareth, I too was immersed in the ordinary rhythms of daily life, carrying my own dreams and plans close to my heart. Like many of you facing life-changing moments, I stood at the threshold of a future I could never have imagined. The news he brought wasn't just surprising, it was completely life-altering, carrying implications that rippled far beyond my understanding, much like the pivotal moments you face in your own lives. A sudden diagnosis, an unexpected job loss, a relationship's end, or an opportunity that requires leaving everything familiar behind. I remember vividly the cascade of emotions that flooded through me in that moment, with Gabriel, wonder, and fear dancing together like light and shadow, excitement and uncertainty intertwining like vines, feeling both chosen and overwhelmed like a small vessel asked to contain an ocean. These same emotions visit you in your own pivotal moments, don't they? Whether you're embarking on a new career path, entering or leaving a relationship, welcoming a child into your life, facing a health crisis, or making any significant life decision, that mixture of hope and fear, that quiet voice asking, "Can I really do this?" And "Do I have what it takes?" echoes through your heart just as it did through mine. What I learned then, and what I want to share with you now, like precious water cupped in careful hands, is that courage isn't about having all the answers or feeling completely ready. Courage blooms like a flower in rocky soil, one petal at a time. It's about taking one step forward, even when the path ahead lies shrouded in mist. It's about saying yes to what calls to your heart, even when your mind is filled with questions like stars filling the night sky. It's about trusting that you don't have to see the entire journey to take the next step, just as a bird doesn't need to see its destination to spread its wings. I see how many of you struggle with anxiety about the future. In your quiet moments, when the world grows still and you're alone with your thoughts, worries crowd in like shadows at twilight. What if I lose my job? What if my relationship fails? What if my children face hardship? What if my health deteriorates? What if I never achieve my dreams? What if I'm making the wrong decisions? These thoughts can feel like heavy chains, binding you to fears about things that haven't yet come to pass, stealing the peace from your present moment. Let me share with you how I faced my own seasons of deep anxiety. When Joseph and I had to flee to Egypt with baby Jesus, we left everything familiar behind: our home, our community, our livelihood, like leaves scattered by an autumn wind. We traveled through dangerous territories, not knowing where we would find shelter or how we would provide for our needs. Every parent's fears for their child's safety, every refugee's uncertainty about future days, every person's anxiety about survival in a strange land, these experiences are woven into the fabric of my own story. What sustained me during that time, and what I want to teach you now, is the art of living one moment at a time, like pearls being strung one by one to create something beautiful. When the future looms too large and overwhelming to contemplate, bring your focus back to the present moment, like narrowing your vision to the next stepping stone across a wide river. What do you need to do right now, in this hour, on this day? What small step can you take toward hope? What tiny action can you perform with love? This is how we walk to Egypt, not by constantly worrying about the entire journey, but by taking one step at a time, finding courage in each sunrise, gratitude in each moment of safety, like gathering manna in the desert, just enough for each day. To those of you battling depression and mental health challenges, I want you to know that I see the depth of your struggle with the same tenderness as a mother watching her child navigate through stormy waters. I understand how exhausting it is to wake up each morning feeling like you're trying to swim through heavy waters, how even the simplest tasks feel like climbing a mountain in thick fog. I see how isolated you feel even in a crowded room, like a shadow among solid forms, how the world seems to move at a different speed while you're trapped in slow motion. The brave smile you wear like a mask, the feelings of worthlessness that cling to you like morning mist, the questions about your purpose that echo in the quiet hours, all of these I hold in my heart like precious, wounded birds. I see how you try to explain your pain to others, only to have your words fall like stones into a deep well, how you struggle to find light in days that feel endless, how you sometimes wonder if your presence makes any ripple in the vast ocean of existence. My beloved ones, please let this truth sink into your being like healing rain into parched earth. Your mental health challenges are not a failure of faith or character. They are not punishment or weakness, any more than clouds are a failure of the sky. They are part of the complex tapestry of human experience, as real as any physical wound, as deserving of care as any visible illness. Just as you wouldn't expect a broken wing to heal without proper tending, please don't expect yourself to overcome depression or anxiety through willpower alone. When the darkness feels thickest, when even prayer feels like whispering into void, when you feel most alone, know that these are the moments when I hold you closest, like a mother cradling her sleeping child. Even when you can't feel my presence, even when your prayers seem to bounce off a leaden sky, even when hope feels as distant as stars at noon, I am right there with you. My love surrounding you like a warm cloak, my strength supporting you like invisible wings. For my children who carry the deep wounds of trauma, whether it arrived suddenly like a lightning strike or accumulated slowly like water wearing away stone, I want you to know that your pain is sacred to me. Trauma changes everything, doesn't it? Like an earthquake that shifts the landscape of your inner world. It alters how you see life, how you relate to others, how you understand yourself. I see how exhausting it is to be constantly vigilant, like a sentinel who can never rest. How confusing it is when past pain intrudes into present moments, like an uninvited ghost. How frustrating it can be when others expect you to move on, as easily as turning a page in a book. Through my own experience of witnessing my son's suffering and death, I learned that trauma touches not just our memories, but our entire being, body, mind, and spirit, like ripples spreading across a pond. Healing from trauma isn't just about processing memories or changing thoughts. It's about gently, patiently rebuilding a sense of safety in the world, like a bird carefully reconstructing its nest after a storm. It's about learning to trust again others, yourself, and even divine love, like a flower slowly opening its petals to the sun. Your healing journey may not follow a straight path. It may spiral like a labyrinth, with times of progress followed by periods that feel like retreat, moments of breakthrough followed by days of struggle. This is natural as the ebb and flow of tides. Just as a garden doesn't bloom in a single day, emotional and spiritual wounds have their own timeline for healing. Let me help you be patient with this process, celebrating small victories like precious seeds sprouting, being gentle with yourself during difficult days like tender shoots in harsh weather. To my precious children struggling with addiction, whether to substances, behaviors, or patterns that promise relief but deliver chains, I wrap my maternal love around you like a protective blanket. I understand how addiction can start like a whispered promise of escape, like a rope thrown to someone drowning in overwhelm or pain, only to become a snare that holds you fast. I see how it can feel like being caught in a dance you didn't choose, each step taking you further from where you want to be, like leaves caught in a whirlwind. The shame that accompanies addiction, how it weighs on you like a heavy cloak, how it whispers lies about your worth, how it makes you feel separate from others, like a glass wall you can't break through. I want to help lift this burden from your shoulders. Shame thrives in silence and isolation, like mushrooms growing in dark corners, but it begins to lose its power when brought into the light of compassion and understanding. Your addiction does not define you, just as clouds passing across the sky do not define the vast expanse of heaven. Recovery is not a straight line but a spiral path, like a mountain trail that circles upward. There may be times when you feel you're covering the same ground, but with each circuit, you're actually climbing higher, gaining new perspective, building stronger resources. Each attempt at sobriety, each moment of clarity, each honest conversation is like a seed planted in the garden of your healing. Even what feels like failure can be fertile soil for growth, teaching you about your triggers, your needs, your resilience. To those of you navigating the complex waters of parenthood, whether you're raising young children, supporting adult offspring, or carrying the pain of strained or broken relationships with your own parents, I hold your hearts with special tenderness. Parenting is perhaps the most profound journey of transformation, like being both the sculptor and the clay, shaping while being shaped, teaching while learning, growing while nurturing growth in others. I understand the weight of responsibility you carry, like Atlas bearing the world on his shoulders. The constant questioning, am I doing enough? Am I doing too much? Am I making the right choices? These thoughts can swirl in your mind like autumn leaves in a windstorm. The fatigue that seeps into your bones after long days of giving, the worry that gnaws at your heart like a persistent tide, the moments of doubt that cloud your judgment like fog obscuring a familiar path. I see it all with eyes of understanding and compassion. Let me share with you what I learned through raising Jesus. Perfect parenting doesn't exist, just as perfect weather doesn't exist. What exists is love, presence, and the courage to keep showing up, like the sun rising faithfully each morning. Every parent makes mistakes, like a gardener learning which plants need more sun and which need more shade. What matters is not perfection but connection, not flawless execution but faithful presence, not getting everything right but being willing to learn and grow. For those experiencing relationship challenges, whether in marriage, friendship, or family bonds, I see how complex and delicate these connections can be, like intricate tapestries woven from countless threads of experience, expectation, hope, and fear. Relationships can be both our greatest source of joy and our deepest well of pain, like a garden that can yield both flowers and thorns. I understand the hurtachie of miscommunication, the frustration of unmet needs, the loneliness of emotional distance that can feel as vast as oceans between continents. Through my relationship with Joseph, I learned that love is both stronger and more fragile than we imagine, like a diamond that can withstand immense pressure, yet needs careful handling. True intimacy requires a delicate balance of honesty and gentleness, like holding a bird in your hands, firm enough to keep it safe, gentle enough to allow it to breathe. It requires the courage to be vulnerable, like opening a flower to the sun, knowing that both warmth and storms may come. To my beloved children who feel invisible or overlooked, those who move through the world like shadows at noon, your contributions unnoticed, your voice unheard, I see you with the clarity of a mother's loving gaze. Like a tree growing in the forest's understory, your work may seem hidden yet remains vital to the ecosystem of life. I notice every extra hour you spend perfecting your work, every kind word you offer that goes unacknowledged, every creative solution you suggest that others claim as their own, like precious gems dropped into deep waters, creating ripples that others may not trace back to their source. The pain of being interrupted, talked over, or dismissed can feel like constant paper cuts to the soul. The exhaustion of trying to prove your worth, like a flower constantly straining toward distant sunlight, can drain your spirit. But remember this eternal truth. Just as the moon's influence on the tides remains powerful, whether visible or new, your impact on the world continues even when unrecognized. The most profound transformations often begin in silence and shadow, like seeds germinating beneath the soil. For those carrying the sacred responsibility of caring for others, whether tending to aging parents, supporting children with special needs, or nurturing those facing illness or disability, I wrap my understanding around you like a soft shawl of comfort. The weight of constant caregiving can feel like carrying water in cupped hands, essential, precious, and exhausting. I see how your own needs often slip to the bottom of the list, like autumn leaves settling beneath winter snow. The physical fatigue that seeps into your bones, the emotional drain that empties your cup drop by drop, the worry that circles your mind like restless birds. I hold all of this in my heart. The guilt that whispers when you need rest, the grief that comes in waves as you witness decline, the love that keeps you going even when your strength feels as thin as morning mist. All of these I understand with the depth of one who watched her son carry his cross. To my children working in helping professions, you who have chosen to be vessels of healing and hope for others, I see how your compassion can become both your greatest gift and heaviest burden, like wings that both lift and weigh upon you. The secondary trauma you absorb, like a sponge taking in others' pain, the systemic limitations that feel like walls between your desire to help and your ability to do so, the challenge of maintaining professional boundaries while keeping your heart open, these are burdens I understand and honor. For those living with chronic illness or disability, you who navigate each day like sailors steering through unpredictable waters, I want you to know that your adaptability is a form of grace, your persistence a form of courage. The uncertainty of symptoms that shift like weather patterns, the careful rationing of energy like precious water in a desert, the creativity required to find new ways of being in a world not designed for your needs. These are testimonies to your resilience and strength. Your worth is not measured by productivity any more than a garden's beauty is measured by its yield. Your adaptations are not compromises but innovations, like plants finding new ways to grow toward light. Your experience, though challenging, has gifted you with wisdom as deep as ancient wells, empathy as vast as ocean currents. To my children who feel different or excluded because of their identity, you who often feel like colorful birds in a world expecting sparrows, your uniqueness is not a flaw, but a gift, like a rainbow breaking white light into beautiful diversity. The exhaustion of navigating spaces not designed for you, like walking upstream in a swift current, the pain of discrimination that cuts like winter wind, the constant pressure to educate or explain. I see how these challenges wear on your spirit. Yet know this, your authenticity is sacred, like a flame that illuminates the path for others. Your presence enriches the human family, like a new note adding depth to an ancient song. Your journey towards self-acceptance and truth is holy work, as vital as the turning of seasons. As we draw our time together to a close, my beloved children, let these final words sink into your hearts like evening dew on thirsty soil. You are never truly alone. My love surrounds you like the air you breathe, constant and essential though unseen. My presence accompanies you like the faithful moon through your darkest nights, inseparable and steadfast. My faith in you stands firm like mountains anchored in earth's depths. Go forth knowing that every step you take is supported by love. Every breath you draw is blessed with grace. Every moment of your life is held in divine embrace. Like stars that continue their eternal dance, whether seen or hidden by clouds. My love for you remains steady and true through all seasons of your journey. Until we meet again in the sacred space of prayer, remember that you dwell forever in my heart, like precious jewels set in the crown of creation. My love for you is as endless as the cosmos, as constant as the turning of the earth, as tender as twilight blessing the day to rest. Rest in this truth, grow in this love, and know that you are blessed beyond measure. Amen.